Hey guys, welcome back. We are back again with a re-upload of the 1990 Donruss Errors Part 2. The last one I'm having audio issues. I think I finally figured out the problem. I had a problem with one of the cables I was using, and it would transfer to the computer. I could render it, I could upload it, and I could hear the volume, but a lot of you viewers were not able to hear it, and I think I figured it out. It was actually a cable issue. So we're going to try this again. Please let me know if you can hear me. Don't let me know if you can't hear me, because you can't hear me. All right, so we're going to get started here. We're going to jump right into, this is the follow-up video to my first 1990 Donruss error video. It was my most popular video, and this is going to be kind of the comprehensive list that will complete that. We're going to speed through these. There's a lot of little variations that we're just not going to talk about, like little specks, different borders where we have different paint specks, you know, of the red border. And there's also some like weird black line variations. We're going to talk a little bit about those, but there's some variations that just aren't mass produced, and we're not going to mention those on this video because this would go hours and hours. So there's another thing that we're not going to mention, and that is the 3 errors on the back of the card. So this is something that is present in most 1990 Donruss and 1989. Maybe others too. I just know of those 2 sets for sure, where they have 3 variations that would be considered errors, but they're so common they don't make the Beckett's, and they don't add any value to it. Okay, so number 1, we have the 1989 Leaf Ink, short for Incorporated, there on the back of the card, and they didn't put the period on the end of ink. When they come back and corrected those, and like I said, they're just everywhere. They're almost every single card has that issue where it's no period and then corrected. Anyway, moving on. The also denotes lead league. That's the double asterisk error. You'll hear about that sometimes if you're looking up cards on eBay. Should only have 1 asterisk, but have 2 of them there sometimes. And then the third one, okay, so this one's really weird. The MLB logo right under the bottom right-hand corner of the white box of stats. They moved that logo, so on some cards it's too close, so it's like crowding the words, and another one they just kind of moved it over to the side. So I don't even really see why they did that. It didn't really cover the letters, but they had to have it look nice. Let's get started. Let's go down the list. I'm going to try and speed through these here. Number 3, Ruben Sierra, Donruss Diamond Kings. Well, on the back here of all of the cards, they have the border line. So it's a vertical line, and there's one at the top, one at the bottom. Well, in this card, as well as a couple others, they did not complete that. So you have one at the bottom and not one at the top. So that's the error. They did correct that one. And you can pretty much assume everything I'm talking about here isn't worth anything. So there's a couple that may be worth like $1 or $2. I mean, it's that bad, okay? They're just not really worth it. Brian Downing, number 10, Diamond King, reverse negative. Now this is cool. I mean, when we think reverse negative, where to go? We think of the Juan Gonzalez. And let's get some light there. I think I get more light there. The Juan Gonzalez reverse negative. And man, this came out, it was like $8 or $10. And it's worth like $2 now. Well, they did that with the Brian Downing as well. I didn't learn about this until recently. And so you see, looks like he's batting left in one and right on the other because it's just a reverse negative. All right, moving on. Kelly Gruber of the Toronto Blue Jays, number 113, got his birthday wrong. It says he's born on 2/22. He actually is born on 2/26, so February 26th instead of the 22nd. They corrected that one. Scott Gureltz, number 217, also a birthday error. I'm not sure what's going on with birthdays in this set. It says he's born on October 20th, but he is October 30th is when he was actually born. So they got it wrong by 10 days. I'm not sure why. There is... And there's a really cool one here. Andy Nezelek. And I couldn't find that card. It says he's born in 1985. Okay, so do the math there. He wasn't 4 years old when he was playing in 1989. But they got his birthday wrong. I believe it's 1965. He should have been 24, not 4 years old. So that's kind of a really funny error, and I couldn't find one of those cards to show. I think I have 1,000 of them, but all right. The next one is, so we're gonna talk about some black line errors. I'm gonna go through these real quick here. So Kevin Hickey, excuse me, number 583. We got John Jack Morris, goes by Jack, and that is number 639. And then a Sergio Valdez, number 405. These are all corrected to my knowledge. They have black lines going through part of their names. So in all of these, they happen to have them going through the very first letter of the name. And they corrected those. So those black lines through the white cursive is what you're seeing there. And they correct those. And that's one of the ones where a lot of people will say, hey, I have this variation where the black line is covering like part of the letter. And gosh, if we tried to list all of those, we'd be here all day because there's weird anomalies and everything. So we're going to talk about some All-Star cards. So we talked about in the last video of All-Star cards where they made errors where most of the American League All-Stars, not all of them, but most of them had the missing trademark, the missing TM in the bottom of the card here where it has the American League logo. And there's a little spot for it, and there's just no TM. They just forgot to do that. I'm not sure what's going on there. And they didn't correct that one. So I don't know if they didn't catch it or what, or they didn't care. But we talked about it a little bit in the last video, but the big errors that we want to talk about here are the back, where it mentions the recent major league performance. But it shouldn't say that. It should say All-Star game performance. And that's the area above the box here. Well, I've heard, and I don't have every single one, but I've heard that they did that with every single All-Star card, made that error, and then they came back and corrected all of that. So every single All-Star card has 2 variations, and you know, not even including the missing trademark error. But there's an exception to that here, and this is the Harold Baines card, number 660. This is a unique card because it has a quad error. Okay, 4 different variations of this card. So we have the corrected, we have the All-Star. Well, that's the corrected. Okay, we have the corrected. We have the recent major league, and then we have this one here with the line through the star. It's the only card in the set, the only error that has this particular issue with a black line going through the star. And then you have another variation that is the line going through the star and recent major league performance. Are you confused yet? Because there's a lot going on there. But it's pretty cool. I mean, there's 4 different variations of the card. And let me be clear that that is not even including the missing trademark error or the 3 errors on the back. So if you do the math, there's like exponentially, like adding up all the possibilities. There's like 4,000 or 5,000 variations. Of course, not worth collecting them unless you just really have nothing to do. That's kind of the cool thing about the Harold Baines card with the 4 different variations of it. Okay, so moving forward, we have the Nolan Ryan King of Kings Diamond King card. Okay, so you're probably thinking this is the switchback one. Well, I did that on my last video. This is not. This is something different here. This is the no number on back error. This was really cool. I think it's cool because cards without numbers are just kind of I don't know. I think a pretty cool error. So here it is. This is the card with the number in the back corner, say number 665. Here's the one without. They just left it off. Cool, but not worth anything. And it should be. All right, and then we're going to talk about this Bart Giamatti. So this card's really funny because when I was a kid and I opened up this card, I was like, why is there an old man in a suit on this baseball card? Well, this is Bart Giamatti, commissioner of baseball. He died. He was only commissioner for a year, and he died. What was the reason? Heart attack, I think. Fatal heart attack. Okay, so anyway. So they came out with 2 variations of this card, and here is the error one. So we have the Bart Giamatti with the narrative and then the orange border. Remember, like that Ruben Sierra card didn't have the black line, so they redid it. and actually has a smaller orange border for some reason. I don't know why, but that does have the black lines on there. So two different versions of the Bart card, and that's it for the regular cards. We also have some checklist errors. The checklist, I'll go over these real quick because, gosh, there's so much stuff here. The checklist, every 100 cards, hey kitty, every 100 cards had a checklist. Hi, Bagheera. Welcome to the video. This is my cat, Bagheera. She's in the intro to the video. So every single card in the checklist was 100, 200, 300, and so on up to 700. And they had different variations of this. I mean, how can you mess up a checklist card, right? But some of them are numbered 28, like the 100, okay, was numbered 28 through 125. Of course, the first 27 cards were the Diamond Kings, okay? And then they also came up with a variation that was 28 through 129. So they had 4 more card numbers on the card. And they did that for each one. So like for instance, the 200 card also had 2 different amounts of cards on there. Okay, so strange. They did it for every single one of them. Now the 700 checklist card has something a little bit strange there. It does have the numbers on there as well as the MVP cards on there. But they left out number 716. It's just not on the card. They did correct that, and they did add the 716. Mr. Poor Bart, rest in peace. He is the missing card that got kicked off the checklist there for some reason. But they came clean with that. Donruss is usually pretty good at correcting their errors. Just an honorable mention I did not talk about is the Ken Griffey Jr. card. They said he was signed through 90. It should have been through 91. Who cares? I'm glad they didn't correct that. It's just making another version of the card for no reason. And that was about all of them. This is a pretty definitive list. So, guys, let's make a promise we'll never talk about 1990 Donruss again. There is just too many of these ugly red border cards, errors. Enough is enough. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm really trying to get this audio issue fixed. It's been pretty exhausting there, but I appreciate everyone sticking in there with me, and we hope you're liking and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.